Alright, how's it going everybody? Today I thought I would do a quick video on how I made the puddles for my Roblox game Midnight Mischief. So as you can see, these puddles are transparent. You can see the ground under them while still reflecting the things on your screen. You'll need a photo editing software, and that's just about it. So let's get started. So having a blank canvas here, I just put these two parts so I can reflect them. What we're going to do, no scripts needed, no plugins needed. We're just going to exploit a bug in the engine. So notice when I create a part and I make the material glass and set the transparency to 1, it's invisible. You cannot see it, right? Well, if I set the transparency to 2, all of a sudden you can see it. And if I set the transparency to 3, 4, 5, let's go up to 30. And we expand this, well, now you see the effect. The more you increase the transparency on glass, the more exaggerated this effect is. It grabs whatever is being distorted and actually stretches it down by looking at it in your screen space. Now, here's the big problem. If I just go ahead and deselect this, it's gone. You can only see it if it's being selected. So to get around this, you actually want to put a highlight inside of the part, and then all you need to do is disable the highlight. Now when you click away, it stays visible. It's perfectly ready to go, just like that. You have your reflective surface. Now obviously, there's a big difference between this and this. And I'm going to show you exactly how I accomplish this look. Fundamentally, yes, this is all you need to do to create a reflection. But if you do not tame this reflection and you do not blend it properly, it can look very tacky and out of place, and it just does not look good. This just looks like a distorted mirror, and there's really nothing special about it. And so over here, I have some terrain. As you can see, you can kind of see through it, and you can see the ground underneath the water on the terrain. To accomplish this effect, I simply just placed a part on top of the glass with the texture I want to blend into it. So this is the ground texture. And as you can see, the more transparent I make it, the more it looks like there is ground under the water. If I completely remove it, it just looks like a mirror. It looks out of place and does not look good. But if I make it semi-transparent, depending on the strength used, you can make the water look more foggy, you can make the water look more clear, and you can change the color of the water by changing the color of this part. And so this is mainly the trick used to accomplish this transparent effect. Now, to get it to look like this, it takes a little bit of time. Let's go to this exhibit over here. I have created a piece of ground with puddles in it. Works the same way as the previous one, except we're gonna take this part here. You see, this is the top layer, just another piece of ground. We remove it, looks fine. I mean, it could look a lot better, but it's just so much more realistic having that texture on top of it. And so how I made this is actually pretty simple. What you're going to need to do is make a mesh part, and we're going to put a surface appearance inside of this mesh part. Now, go on your toolbox or your material generator and find a decent seamless texture. Let's find, how about this one? We're going to set the color map to that value. All right, I had a phone call, kind of lost track of where I was. So yeah, find a texture that you like. This one I don't like, so I'm going to find another one. Yeah, in the surface appearance, you set the color map to that texture. I think I just picked the same one. And this is a good one right here. Boom, I like this one. So as you can see, this texture doesn't repeat itself. It's, pretty good seamless texture. And so we can expand this. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that color map. We're going to copy it, just the value. Go to your web browser and type in this link right here, https://assetdelivery.roblox.com/v1/asset/?id equals. I'll have this pasted in the description so you don't have to painfully type it out. And then just put your ID at the end of that URL. Press enter, and it's going to start saving that image as a file. Before you save it, set the name whatever you want it to be. I'm going to make it dirt thing. But make sure you add .png afterwards. Otherwise, it will just save as an empty file. You want to save it as a PNG. So here it is. We're going to open it. Here's our image. Now, this is where you need your photo editing software. We're going to copy this image. We're going to go into our photo editing software. We're going to paste it in, just like this. And as you can see, you already know what I did with this one. So I'm just going to grab my eraser and make little blobs. Make sure you don't put it at the edges, otherwise it'll ruin the seamlessness of the texture. So we're just going to make little blobs. Just like that. That's perfectly fine. The way I set up my eraser is with the minimum amount of hardness, because if I just do this, it creates a sharp edge. So minimum amount of hardness, change the size, do whatever you need. And this will be our puddle. So now we're just going to file, save as, dirt thing with holes. Name it whatever you want. That's what I'm going to name it. Hit OK. Now we're going to go to your browser one more time. You want to go to your creator dashboard and go to your dashboard, development items, decals, and upload an asset. We're going to hit upload. Find the image we just made. Whatever the name is, doesn't matter. Hit upload. Now that it is uploaded, we're going to click these three dots, hit copy asset ID. We're going to go back to our game, go to our surface appearance, and replace our old ID with the new one. It's going to look like this. Boom. Should look exactly like this. Now to make it transparent, you need to grab the alpha mode and set it to transparency instead of overlay. And that will accomplish this effect. So now you have transparent holes inside of the dirt, and you can take your glass, put it over it, scale it down, and you just want to lower it until it's underneath the texture, like this. So even though the looks tell us it's on top, it's actually underneath. And that's the illusion. Duplicate the part, get rid of the highlight in the new part, set the transparency to 0, scale it up a little bit to where it's just over the glass, but not over the dirt. We're going to set this material to, we could do pebble. Pebble would probably look pretty good with this. We have plaster, which would look good. We're just going to go with slate. You probably don't have a lot of these materials. I don't know which of them are beta or which of them are just as it is. So we'll use slate. I know that one. That one everyone can use. We're going to set the transparency to like 0.5, 0.6. Disable cast shadow. You can play around with it if you like. And then you can just use this to adjust the color. And so let's say I want a nice murky water. That color looks good to me. And now we have a puddle in the dirt. And so this is how I accomplish the effect for my roads on Midnight Mischief. Here's the road texture. If I get rid of it, it looks like this. You know, it looks pretty bland. Just sharp, reflective mirrors. This road texture is actually a turf grass texture. And I just made it black and it looks good. And so that's pretty much it. That is how I did the puddles for my game. So we're in the game now doing a playtest, and this is how it looks like in gameplay. Looks pretty good, looks pretty convincing. So you can see the blade reflects in the water because it's a screen space reflection. It would be better if it inverted, but it doesn't. It just takes the same image and just pulls it downward instead of inverting it. So it's halfway there. We almost have good screen space reflections, but it's better than nothing. Well, I hope you learned something new, and happy building.